happened to overhear a male intern that was hired after me having a higher hourly rate than I did.
But there's that whole saying out there that boys are boys, and you know, it's okay for them to spread their wings, I guess they would say, but
Hi, my name is Sharon Morley.
my name is Mary Murphy.
My name's Nicole Morris.
I didn't know that there was a choice not to go to college. I just thought that's what everybody did, because from the time I was a young girl, my mom would say, well, when you go away to school, you know, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm going away to school. That's just what you do. I was the first grandchild in the whole family to actually go to college and graduate from college. And I can remember uncles, my father's brothers, coming. And I would be asked to leave the room. Children oftentimes were, when there were adult conversations going on. But of course I would eavesdrop, why not? And what they were saying to him was, why would you spend that kind of money to send a girl to school? Now, I don't know if they would have spent that money to send a boy to school, but that was more feasible than sending a girl to school. They really thought that that was just kind of a silly thing to do.
I think in school I excelled at math and science were the subjects that I enjoyed the most, and I certainly was not offered or even suggested any kind of career in either of those. Yeah, no one ever suggested that I go into that. In fact, now that I think about it, when I started high school, they wanted me to start learning secretarial skills, and I refused.
When I was young and making a career choice, I had two choices that I knew about, that anybody knew about. I could have been a nurse or I could have been a teacher. Those were basically my two choices. I can remember walking into school to teach the very first day, and we were very much aware of dress codes. Women never wore pants or slacks in public, never. You had to wear a dress and skirt. And I knew that, but I had met a girl in the parking lot actually, and she was brand new as well. And we were both walking in the door as first year teachers. And the principal was standing at the door, and he said, good morning, good morning. And he said, a word with you. And he pointed to the girl I was walking in with, and he said, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to go home and change your clothes. He said, your skirt is entirely too short. And I can remember her skirt was a little below her knee. So he was sending her home to put on a skirt that was actually 2 or 3 inches lower than that. You know, skirts were to be long.
I can remember a protest when I was in 7th grade in high school, where the girls put on a protest and went and walked out of the school to be allowed to wear pants. I imagine that. Can you imagine not having to wear a dress to school? That there was a rule.
My mother was pretty adamantly against the fact that I would be sort of a K through 12 teacher, thinking that that was not living up to my truest potential. And so she didn't tell me what to be, but she definitely highly discouraged me from being that. She didn't want me to go into a profession that was typically designated just for women.
I stood at the top of the stairs, he stood at the bottom, and he said to me, in a very loving way, so now you will quit your job. And I said, what? And he said, now you will teach your, quit your teaching job. And I said, why? And he said, well, you'll stay home. And that was the expectation, in a lot of ways for many women, that once they began having a family, they would stay home and they would raise that family and take care of them. I wanted my kids to believe that they could be anything they wanted to be. Especially for my daughter, I wanted her, I knew that it would be a hard world that she grew up in, and I wanted her to have an opinion, and I wanted her to stand up for her opinion always.
I did not have strong female role models when it came to people in positions of power impact. For example, the Ruth Bader Ginsburgs of the world, the Kamala Harrises. I did not have those women that I could look up to that could really allow me to sort of maximize, sort of break out of what we've called the glass ceiling. I was really pretty limited in terms of sort of what I could sort of close my eyes and imagine that I could be in this world. And I love that my daughters can close their eyes and they can imagine themselves on the Supreme Court. They could imagine themselves having a place in the White House. They can imagine themselves having a place as CEO of an impactful organization.
When I went into education, my bosses in administration were almost always men. A lot of that, even, the teachers, I think if you look at elementary school, most of the teachers in elementary school are women. When you think back to who your elementary school teachers were, like if somebody said, who was your favorite elementary school teacher? I say Mrs. Martin right away. I don't think I had any male teachers in elementary school. And I know that's a gender inequality works both ways, which is kind of interesting, because that's a real drive right now, I would hope, to get a lot of men as elementary school teachers, because young boys need good role models.
I think some of the biggest problems that exist in our society is that the same people are put in power to make decisions for sort of the rest of the human population, and it's not actually representative of the human population. I think a little bit just about sort of the traditional government structure here in the United States, and it is for the first time in the past year that we actually have a female as vice president. And yet we've always had older, tends to be white Caucasian males that are really in the most powerful positions here in the United States.